Have you ever wondered if she's really missing you, or if you're just overthinking it? Women don't always say it outright, but they do leave clear signs when you're on their mind. Whether it's a random text, a bit of jealousy creeping in, or her bringing up the good old days out of nowhere, there's often a deeper reason behind it. Today, I'm going to break down 15 psychological signs that reveal she's missing you, and how to spot them before anyone else even realizes what's happening. Stick around, because once you know these signs, the game changes completely. 1. When she reaches out first. When she takes the initiative to reach out, it's not just about sending a message or making a call. There's a much deeper, often unspoken reason behind her decision. For a woman to make the first move, especially after a period of silence, it's likely because she's been thinking about you, maybe even obsessively. The moment she sends that message, she's breaking the internal dialogue of wondering if you're still thinking about her. It's an emotional risk for her, because by reaching out, she's exposing herself to the possibility of rejection or indifference. But here's where it gets interesting. When she chooses to reach out, it reveals a lot about her emotional state. If it's late at night, she might be feeling lonely or vulnerable. Nighttime often brings reflective thoughts, especially when she's alone. She could be lying in bed, scrolling through social media, or replaying memories of your time together. Maybe she's had a few drinks and her emotional guard is down. Alcohol often lowers inhibitions and amplifies feelings of longing. In this state, she's less likely to overthink and more likely to act on impulse, driven by raw emotion. It's also worth paying attention to how often she reaches out. If she's consistently initiating conversations, even when you're not reciprocating as much, it's a clear sign she's missing you and trying to reconnect emotionally. 2. The content of her messages. The content of her messages can reveal her deeper intentions. A casual, "How's it going?" might seem like nothing, but it's often a safe way for her to test the waters without being too vulnerable. On the other hand, if she brings up shared experiences or inside jokes, it's her way of pulling you back into the emotional space you once shared. She's subtly reminding you of the bond you had, hoping to reignite that spark. 3. Her reactions when you don't respond. Right away. Pay close attention to how she reacts if you don't respond immediately. If she double texts, sends follow-up messages, or finds excuses to keep the conversation going, it's because she's emotionally invested. She's seeking validation that you still care, even if she's not directly saying it. This behavior points to one clear conclusion. She's thinking about you and missing the emotional connection she had with you. 4. She remembers the little things. A woman's ability to remember small details about you is not just a sign of a good memory. It's a reflection of emotional attachment. When she remembers that you like your coffee with 2 sugars and a dash of cream, or that you once mentioned wanting to visit a specific city, it's because she's been paying attention to the things that define you. These small details matter so much because, in her mind, they represent the deeper connection she feels with you. But it's not just about recalling random facts. Every time you shared something personal or meaningful with her, like your favorite band or a childhood story, she filed that away in her emotional memory. These details are tied to moments where she felt connected to you. When she brings them up, it's her way of reliving those moments. For instance, imagine she surprises you with a gift that reflects something you casually mentioned months ago. Maybe you told her about a book you wanted to read, or a hobby you wanted to try, and suddenly she's giving you that book or a tool for that hobby. This isn't just thoughtfulness. It's her way of showing that she cares deeply about what matters to you. 5. She uses these details to reconnect emotionally. When she brings up these small details, It's often in moments when she's feeling emotionally distant or worried about losing your attention. By reminding you of the shared moments, she's trying to pull you back into a space where the two of you were more connected. These small things become her emotional lifeline, a way to keep the bond alive in her mind, even when there's distance between you two. 6. She brings up the little things. When she brings up those little details, she's hoping you'll feel that connection too. Essentially, she's saying, I haven't forgotten about the things that matter to you. Don't forget about me. 7. She gets nostalgic. Nostalgia isn't just about remembering past events. It's about reliving the emotions tied to them. When a woman starts reminiscing about the past, she's not only thinking about what happened, she's emotionally reconnecting with those experiences. For her, nostalgia is a way to rekindle the feelings she had during those times. So, when she mentions moments like, remember that trip we took to the beach? Or, I was thinking about that time we stayed up all night talking, it's because those memories reflect times when she felt closest to you. There's a deeper layer to nostalgia. It's often triggered by emotional needs in the present. If she's feeling lonely or unsure about the current state of things between you, her mind may naturally turn to happier memories. By bringing up these moments, she's trying to recreate the feelings of closeness you once shared. By recalling these memories, she's hoping you'll start to feel the same longing and emotional connection that she's experiencing. What's especially telling is which memories she chooses to bring up. If she's focusing on fun, light-hearted moments, she may miss the carefree dynamic you had together. But if she brings up deeper, more intimate memories, like a time when you both confided in each other or shared a meaningful experience, it's because those moments carried significant emotional weight for her. Nostalgia is her way of saying, things were great between us then, and I miss that. She's trying to remind both of you of the emotional bond that once existed. Nostalgia can also be a subtle way for her to test the waters. If you respond positively, she'll feel reassured that you still share that connection. But if you don't engage with her trip down memory lane, it might increase her anxiety, making her fear that the bond between you is fading. 8. She shows signs of jealousy. Jealousy is often seen as a negative emotion, but in the context of emotional attachment, it's a powerful sign of how much a woman cares. Jealousy stems from a fear of loss, and when she starts showing signs of jealousy, whether overt or subtle, it's because she's afraid of losing her emotional connection with you. Jealousy doesn't always manifest obviously. It can show up in small, seemingly harmless ways, like her casually asking about other women in your life or making jokes about you spending time with someone else. Let's dive deeper into what's happening beneath the surface. When she gets jealous, it's not just about you being with someone else. It's about her feeling replaced, both emotionally and physically. Jealousy often triggers insecurity, making her question whether she's still important to you. This fear can lead her to seek reassurance, either by directly asking about your relationships with other women or by subtly positioning herself as the more desirable option. She might start paying more attention to how she dresses or interacts with you, or even go out of her way to spend more time with you when she senses competition. But here's the key. Jealousy isn't always a bad thing. In many cases, it's a sign that she's emotionally invested in you. If she didn't care, she wouldn't feel jealous. Her attachment to you is what triggers those feelings of fear and insecurity when she thinks someone else might take her place. When she acts on her jealousy, whether through playful teasing, passive-aggressive comments, or direct confrontation, it's because she's trying to protect the emotional connection she has with you. She's not just afraid of losing you to someone else, she's afraid of losing the unique bond you share. Pay attention to how she reacts when you mention other women. Does she brush it off casually, or does she ask more probing questions? Is she genuinely curious about who you're spending time with, or is there an underlying tension in her voice? These reactions are key indicators of her emotional investment in you. In this context, jealousy is her way of saying, "I don't want to lose what we have." 9. She flirts with you. More flirting isn't just about attraction, it's about emotional connection. When a woman starts flirting with you more, especially after a period of distance or uncertainty, it's her way of reigniting the chemistry between you two. But it's not just playful banter or compliments. Flirting often becomes a way for her to test where you both stand emotionally. It's a strategic move to see if the spark is still there without having to make herself too vulnerable. If she's taking the time to flirt more, it's a sign that she's interested in reigniting the connection you once had. 10. She flirts with you more. When she flirts, she's not just trying to make you smile or get your attention. She's trying to rebuild the emotional connection that may have faded. This is especially true if her flirting includes inside jokes or references to moments that only the two of you share. These subtle cues are her way of creating a private emotional space between you, where she can feel closer to you without directly expressing her feelings. Flirting also serves another purpose. It allows her to gauge your interest. If you flirt back, it reassures her that you're still attracted to her, both physically and emotionally. If you don't engage, it might make her feel insecure or unsure about where things stand. This is why flirting often increases after a period of distance. She's trying to re-establish the connection and see if you're still invested in her. Flirting can also be a way for her to assert her place in your life, especially if she feels like other people might be vying for your attention. By flirting more, she's reminding you of the chemistry and fun you share, positioning herself as someone you're emotionally and physically drawn to. So, when she's throwing out playful lines, teasing you, or complimenting you more than usual, it's her way of pulling you back into her orbit and hoping to reignite the connection you once had. 11. She talks about future plans. When a woman includes you in her future plans, it's not just about logistics, it's about emotional security. Women don't make future plans with men they don't see as significant. So, when she starts talking about what you'll do next week, next month, or even next year, it's because she's mentally and emotionally placing you in her life long term. But it goes beyond casual plans. The type of future she's envisioning with you reveals a lot about her emotional attachment. For example, if she's suggesting you go on a trip together or attend an important event with her, it's because she sees you as a stable part of her life. Future plans are her way of emotionally investing in the relationship and signaling that she wants to keep you around for the long haul. Even small plans, like grabbing dinner next weekend or going to a concert next month, are significant because they indicate that she's thinking ahead and imagining a future with you in it. But let's look at it from another angle. Future planning can also be her way of seeking reassurance. If she's feeling insecure about the relationship or worried about where things are headed, she might start making future plans to solidify her place in your life. By suggesting shared activities or trips, she's trying to create a sense of stability and emotional commitment. It's her way of saying, "I see us being together in the future." Do you? What's especially telling is if she starts making future plans after a period of distance or uncertainty. This is her way of re-establishing the emotional connection with you and making sure you're still on the same page. If she's talking about the future, it's because she's emotionally invested in keeping you in her life long term. She's not just thinking about the present, she's imagining a future where the two of you are still connected, and she's hoping you feel the same way. 12. She's active on your social media. In today's digital age, social media is one of the easiest ways for someone to stay connected to you without being too direct. If she's constantly engaging with your posts, liking your photos, commenting on your stories, or even watching all your updates, it's not just casual interest. It's her way of staying involved in your life and keeping tabs on you without having to make the first move. Social media gives her the ability to observe you from a distance, staying connected to your world without actually having to reach out. But there's more to it than just liking a post or watching a story. Pay attention to when she engages with your social media. Is she more active after you've been distant, or after you've posted about hanging out with other people, especially other women? This isn't a coincidence. Social media allows her to stay connected to you while also monitoring what's happening in your life. If she's seeing you with other people, especially women, it might trigger feelings of jealousy or insecurity, which is why she'll engage with your content more frequently to remind you of her presence. Social media also gives her a subtle way to communicate without directly confronting her emotions. By liking your posts or leaving comments, she's keeping herself in your thoughts without having to be vulnerable. It's a low-risk way for her to maintain the emotional connection, hoping that you'll notice her engagement and respond in some way. If she's suddenly more active on your profile after a period of distance, it's because she's trying to reinsert herself into your life without being too forward. In many ways, social media becomes her emotional lifeline, allowing her to stay connected while keeping a safe distance.